Okay, so today you're going to be doing 2-point perspective and you're going to be drawing a word. So in order to do this, you would start with your H pencil and a ruler. I'm going to use a colored pencil because if I use actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to use a darker pencil because I want to be able to, I want to be able to erase. You should be using the H pencil, but if I use the H pencil, you won't be able to see what I'm doing. So the first step for this is to draw a line that goes all the way across the page. You'll draw it lightly, okay? That is your horizon line. That's where the sky and the ground meet. And we're going to be doing a word that looks like it's coming out at you. So then you'll put your vanishing point on both sides of the paper. Okay, this is called 2-point perspective, and there are 2 points for the lines to converge to. Then you're going to draw a vertical line down the middle of your paper. Or it depends on how long your word is. If you're doing a shorter, like if you're doing a word that, or where you want to split your word. If you're doing a word that's kind of short, maybe you'll do it in the center. Or if you're doing a word that has like 6 letters and like 2 letters, you kind of have to figure out where you want your vertical line to be. That's where your word will turn from. Okay, so you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm just going to do mine in the center. And I'm going to draw light enough that I can erase this later. And that's not perfectly vertical. It has to be perfect or your word will be weird looking. Right, let's try this again. All right, that looks like it's perfectly centered. Okay, so now I'm going to decide how tall I want my letters to be. In order to do that, I'll put dots where I want the tops of my letters to go and the bottoms of my letters to go. And now I'm going to connect my vanishing points from this side to this side and that side to that side on both the sides. It's going to kind of look like a diamond. So start at the vanishing point, line it up with where you want the top of your word to be, draw your line. Start at the vanishing point, line it up where you want the bottom of your words to be, draw your line. And you'll do the same thing on the other side, start on the other vanishing point. Draw your lines. And draw your lines. Okay, so now I have this all set up for my words. So we'll worry about that in a second. You have to figure out how many letters you want yours to be. So my word today, it's going to be Fortnite. So that is 8 letters, which means I'm going to probably want to split it right about here. So I'll do 4 on this side and I'll do 4 on this side. Okay. So I'm going to start, figure out how far away I want this to be. And I'm going to draw a vertical line on this side. And I'm going to draw a vertical line on this side. All right. And now I'm going to divide these up into equal sections so I have enough space to do each one of these. And if you look, this one's not perfectly vertical. So I'm going to try that again because it's going to be difficult to correct it later. All right. So I need 4 on this side, 4 on that, 4 on this side, 4 on that side. The easiest way to divide something up evenly is first I'm going to divide this in half. And I'm just going to guess this looks about halfway, but you could also measure it if you want. Let's see, that's 5 inches. Half of 5 is 2.5. So I could mark here and I could mark here. And of course, it's going to be different depending on the letters you chose. All right, that looks straight. And then now that I've got this in half, I can divide this in half. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Same thing over here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This looks about half right there. Okay, so I should have 8 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. All right, now I have to draw my letters. So in order to do that, I'm going to follow I'm going to create block letters and I'm going to follow the vanishing point and the converging lines. So I'll start we know the letter F is going to look like this, right? Follow, and O will be here. Oops. R is going to be like that. The T will go something like this. I'm drawing very light so I can fix this. N's going to go like this. And I'm going to do a lowercase I. Do an uppercase T, and it's going to follow the vanishing point. I'm going to correct all of these later. I'm just planning it out so you can kind of see it. All right, so you can see that the tops and the bottoms of my letters will touch the tops and the bottoms of the converging lines. Now, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw a line that goes from here, and I want my letters to be, like, let's say I want the top of my T to be about like this thick. So I'm going to draw a dot. And I'm going to draw a line from the vanishing point all the way to that dot. Okay. And I've created the top of my letter F, and I've created the top of the T. And I'm just going to go for the vertical lines. You're just going to decide how thick you want them to be. Draw a vertical. Okay. So here's the top, bottom of my F is here. I'm going to grab a pen so you can actually see this. And I haven't drawn the entire F yet, so I don't want to outline that part yet. I'm going to have my F stop here. It has to be parallel to this line and parallel to the side of the paper. It will follow here. Okay. Now to find the center part of this F, where this little line's supposed to go, I'm going to put my ruler on the vanishing point. Maybe I want it to be about like here and there. Or you know what? I think I'm going to have it hit the bottom right here. I'm going to have it hit the horizon. So I'm going to have it here and here. So I'll draw my line that's parallel first. And then I'm going to use that. I'm going to draw from the vanishing point to the top of that line here, from the vanishing point to the bottom of that line there. All right, my F is blocked in. The O is kind of easy. It just has to touch the top and the bottom. So I'm going to just follow the shape that I've started, try to make it nice and round. And because I want this to be three-dimensional, I'm going to do another O on the inside. The R, I'm going to start with this side one right here. I'm going to make it parallel to the center of the paper. And then we have a block right here. I'm going to follow this around. And you can see why I drew my base letters, because I'm following the shape. All right. And I've already got this one drawn in. So I'm just going to follow the shape and make sure it hits the bottom of the page. This one, I'm going to draw this line, and then I want it to kind of go like this. So I'm going to follow the outline of my letter. And you should do everything in pencil so you're sure it's right. And so far, this is just like 1-point perspective. So you're basically doing like a 1-point perspective drawing on this side and a 1-point perspective drawing on this side. And then when you go to do the blocks is when it turns into 2-point perspective. To get the bottom of the T, I've already drawn that line. It was right here and right there. And I'm going to draw the side of the T right here. It's going to bump up to the end. Draw a parallel line that follows the shape of the center line. All right. So the beginning of my word is complete. Okay. From here, when I go to make the blocks, all the lines will converge to this side, but I'm going to do this side again first real quick. So this is the same way, except now they're going this direction. So I'll start by doing the tops of my letters first and the bottoms. And this line has to be parallel. And this line has to be parallel to the middle of the page. And this line that I'm making right here is parallel to that one. So, right, the eye has to touch the top. The sides of my eye are parallel to the sides of the end, but I don't know where to stop my eye unless I put my pencil on the vanishing point and use my ruler to mark out where I want that line to be. Okay, and you can see I'm also going to use this line right here as the top of this T. So I'm just going to block this off. And I think I want to stop my T right about, actually, I think I'm going to put it here. I'm going to do my T right in this space. So make sure this is parallel to the line over here. And if you're sure your words are right, you can trace them in Sharpie or pen. All right, got one letter left and it's already blocked in. All right, so this is going to be a letter E. In order to do that, I have to figure out how wide I want the bases to be. So this one's already here. It converges with the vanishing point. This one converges with this vanishing point. It goes straight right there. And to get this center, it's just like we did over here where we line up the vanishing point with the letter where we want it to start and stop. And then draw our parallel line. All right, so from this point, you can see how right now it's basically a 1-point perspective drawing on this side and it's a 1-point perspective drawing on this side. Okay, so I'm going to clean up the edges and then show you how to create the blocks. Okay, so I've erased some of this and now I'm going to do the blocks to make each one of these letters look three-dimensional. So this is just like you would do with 1-point perspective, except now you've got two different directions that you're working with. So if you're on this side of the paper, all your letters go this direction, like all the block parts go that way. If you're on this side of the paper, they point at this vanishing point. Okay, so in order to do this, I'm going to take my ruler, and it does not matter which side you start with. I think I'm going to start with this side. So I'm going to put my pencil on this vanishing point over here on the right. I'm going to line my ruler up with the very first edge I come across. And I think I'll just do the T first since it's right here. And once it hits a letter, it cannot go through it. And it converges with this vanishing point on this side. And then I'll go and change the shapes. This is one of these things that's going to look really confusing until you actually do it yourself. So I keep looking for where my blocks should be, basically by finding edges and corners, just like we did in 1-point perspective. and trying to get all those edges and corners. There's a teeny tiny one right there. And the further away you space out your letters, the easier it will be to see your final result. My letters are kind of close together. And remember, if you can't cross through a letter, so like I can't do this little part of the F right here or cross through a letter, but I can do this little piece. And it stops when you hit another letter. All right. So this side of Fortnite has been made three-dimensional. You can pen it in the way it is, or you can follow the shape and block it in. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to block it in. I think it'll look better. In order to do that, you just follow the shape of the line that's right next to it. You see how it's becoming a block now? Okay, this side's complete. Now to do the other side. These lines converge to this direction. So I'll put my pencil on the dot, on the vanishing point on this side, and I start rotating and looking for edges. And just like before, it cannot cross through the letters. Like they stop once they hit a letter. And this side, I'm not going to block off. This side, I'm just going to leave the vanishing point, the converging lines long so you can see what it looks like if you do it different, a little bit differently. You'll be able to see both options. Right, edges and corners, and that's my last one. So now this side is blocked in and this side's complete. Can y'all see the difference between these? Like this side looks like it's I would have to block this off because this is interfering with another letter. Okay, but this side I didn't block off the letters. This just they go on infinitely. This side I chose to block them off and make them a little shorter. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. You're going to pick your word. You're going to create your 2-point perspective drawing with it, and then you can either shade it, color it, or paint it, your choice.